thing we're going to look at is cell phone fee structures. So you'll see there's a whole lot of information given to you over here. So whenever you get a question like this, just take some time to have a look at what's been given. So as you'll see, they've given us two types of providers. So we've got Airfree and Purple. So like a Vodacom and an MTN situation, they give you a breakdown on how they work out the SMS cost for each provider, the call cost off peak, and then the call cost during peak time. Okay, so just so you can see, we've got a breakdown for SMS, call, off peak, and peak. So off peak is a non-busy time. So when you're less likely to use your cell phones, which is about midnight to 5 a.m., that's generally an off-peak time. Calls and SMSs are charged at a cheaper rate compared to peak time when everyone's busy using their phones. So they'll be, suppose, from 7 a.m. all the way to 10 p.m. Okay. So looking at the first question, it says, first, let's read the whole thing. Google wants to purchase a SIM card and is looking at the following service providers. So she wants to choose between Airfree and the Purple service provider. Question 1, if she sends 20 SMSs per month, which provider is cheaper? Okay, so if we look at the question, the keyword that we're looking at there is SMSs. So we're going to have a look at our first block over here. We need to work out the cost for Airfree and the cost for Purple. So let's start with Airfree. It says for Airfree, first 10 per month are free, thereafter 95 cents per SMS. So is there anyone that would like to try and figure out how we would work out the cost for 20 SMSs? First 10 are free, thereafter it is 95 cents per SMS. Do we have any takers? Okay, so let's have a look. She is sending 20 SMSs. I'm going to minus 10 SMSs because we have 10 free. So I'm going to take that away. That means I'm left with 10 SMSs that need to be charged for. And each SMS, they told us, is 95 cents. So I'm going to say 10 times by, and I remember when we write cents, we say 0.95. Okay, which gives us a total cost of R9.50. Okay, so I just want to bring something to your attention. When you put this in your calculator, it actually gives you 9.5. But because you're working with money, you need to add that 0 because money always needs to have 2 decimal places. So if you've tried this by yourself, you would have gotten 9.5. But just remember, with money, we need to have 2 decimal places. So you need to add in that 0. Okay. So that's how we would work out the Airfree cost of using 20 SMSs. Okay, now we're going to look at the Purple service provider. How much is it going to cost Google to send 20 SMSs if she uses Purple? The Purple service provider just says it is 70 cents per SMS. So it's going to be 20 SMSs times by 70 cents, which gives you 14 Rand. Tabang, good. So the question actually asks us which provider is cheaper. All I've done so far is worked out the cost for each. So now I have to answer the actual question, which is which one is cheaper. And as we can see, air free is cheaper. Nice, good. You also got 14 Rand. Awesome. Okay, so a question like this could easily be 5 marks. A mark for your method, for air free, plus your answer. Likewise with purple, your method and your answer, and then your final answer, your conclusion. That could be 5 marks in an exam. Okay, if you have any questions, let me hear it in the chat. Or if you're feeling confident, I'm going to ask you guys to try question 2 by yourselves. It's very similar, just different amounts of SMSs. If you need help, let me know.
Fifi is asking for you to please explain the calculation for air free again.
Perfect. Let me do that. Okay. Fifi. So if we have a look, let me just quickly erase the mess here. I'm looking specifically at the details by air free. It tells you that the first 10 per month are free. Now, it doesn't say first 10 SMSs, but we can obviously assume because it's under SMS. So the first 10 are free. But after that, after that, it is 95 cents per SMS. So for every SMS after those first 10 that are free, it's going to be 95 cents, 95 cents, 95 cents. Okay. So in the question, they said that Gugu wants to send 20 SMSs. Okay, so I took 20 and I minus 10 because 10 are free according to what they tell us up here. 10 are free. So I'm taking the free ones out because I don't need them in my calculation. So that means Gugu's only going to be charged for 10 because there's 10 left. And remember, it's 95 cents for every SMS that's over the free ones. So that's why I said 10 times by 95 cents. And I got my answer of 9.50 Rand. Does that help? Or is there a particular area that's still not making sense? Okay, awesome. I'm seeing some answers already. Okay, let's see. Okay. Perfect. Thanks, Fifi. I'm glad you understand now. Okay, so we're saying purple is cheaper. And I can see we're saying purple is 35 Rand. That is correct. And air free. Let's have a look at how we're going to work this out. Is there anyone that would like to explain how they got their answers? Anyone that would like to unmute? Tabang, yes. Let's hear from you.
Oh no. Okay, we have Zoom user now. Tabang took their hand down.
Oh,
Zoom
okay.
user, you should see a pop-up on your screen asking you to unmute. I see you've got it.
Hi.
Is this
Hi,
Zoom
Zoom.
user?
Yes, please tell us your name.
It's Mpo.
Mpo.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah.
Can I answer question number 2?
Yes, please.
All right. In every, I said 50 SMSs times 7 times 95, 0.95.
Okay, so you said 50 SMSs.
Times 0.95.
For every, but now what happened to the 10 SMSs that are free?
Or you had to minus them, so it's 40.
Yes, good. Okay, so looking at air free.
40
So we're just going to assume this is another scenario. It's not carrying on from the 20 in the previous question. It's a brand new situation. So she wants to say 50. We minus the 10 free. So Mpo, it is 40, hey?
Yes.
And
Then after 40, it's 40 multiplied by 0.95.
good. And then what do you get?
It's 38.
38 Rand.
Yes.
Good. Well done. So I saw some people wrote 37,50. Did you times by 40 SMSs? Nice, Mpo, thank you. Well done.
Thank
Would you
you.
like to do the next one?
Yes.
Okay, so for purple.
For purple, I think it's for purple, I think it's 50 times 0.70, which is 35.70.
Good, which is 35 Rand. Well
Yes.
done. So what is our final answer?
So our final answer, the cheaper one, is purple.
Good. Well done. So purple is cheaper. Thanks, Mpo. That was really well answered. Well done. Okay, so just don't forget the free SMSs next time. But otherwise, all of that was fantastic. 5 out of 5. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay. I did see some other hands being raised. Hopefully you guys will be keen to answer the following questions. All right. So it looks like we all got a hang of taking the free SMSs out and then doing the calculation and then being able to make a conclusion, which is cheaper. All right, question 3. Compare how much it will cost to make a minute call using Airfree and Purple and state which option is cheaper. Okay, so now we're moving away from the SMSs and we are looking at calls. So the question doesn't specify off-peak or peak times. So let's first work out which one's cheaper off-peak and then which one's cheaper during peak times. Okay. All right, so let's look at Airfree first. And we are going to solely focus on this block over here. Key thing to look at in the question is that it's a minute call. So it's only 1 minute for this call. So according to Airfree, it says it is R1.20 for the first minute. Once that first minute passes, it is 1 cent per second thereafter. Thereafter means after that first minute, which is charged at R1.20. After the first minute has passed, it is 1 cent for every second that passes. Okay, so how much is it actually going to cost for a 1 minute call using Airfree? Can anyone tell me? Okay, so, all right. Okay, so I'm going to just repeat the question. Compare how much it will cost to make a minute call using Airfree and Purple and state which option is cheaper. So we're looking at off-peak specifically now. Okay, how much will it cost to make a 1 minute phone call? How much is it going to cost to make a 1 minute phone call using Airfree? So we've got Airfree. It says it is R1.20 for the first minute. So how much is it for 1 minute? It is good. Wazi, it is R1.20. We're only looking at the first minute. It is R1.20. Don't have to do any calculating for that one. Good, Fifi. So now, if I ask, how much is it going to cost for 1 minute call using Purple? So Purple, it is 85 cents per minute. So it's going to cost how much for 1 minute? 85 cents. Good. So it almost seems like a trick question because it's right there. But you can get asked a question like this. Okay, so Purple is 85 cents. Okay, and then let's just remember that this is for off-peak specifically. So let's do the same thing, but looking at the peak costs. So now we are going to be looking at the second block. Okay, peak time. Peak time is always going to be more expensive because that's when everyone's using their phones. Busy time. So Airfree, it is R1.45 for the first minute. Then it says 2 cents per second thereafter. So very similar to off-peak. Okay, these two are very similar, but it is slightly more expensive because this time it's 2 cents per second. Just remember, peak will always be more expensive. Okay, so same way of thinking. It's R1.45. Sorry, that price is also more expensive. R1.45 for the first minute. Once that minute has passed, every second after that, it's going to be 2 cents, 2 cents, 2 cents. So if you talk on the phone for 1 minute and 2 seconds, so let's just look at that quickly. 1 minute and 2 seconds. That call is going to cost you R1.45. Oh, wrote a weird 4 there. For your first minute, plus you've got 2 seconds. And remember, it's 2 cents per second. So I'm going to say 2 cents times 2 because they're 2 seconds. So that will equal R1.47 for that kind of call. Okay. Okay, so with that being said, let's go back to the question we were looking at. Zoom. Latabo, yes, you raised your hand.
Please look for a pop-up on your. There we go.
Ma'am, can you please repeat
Hi,
what
Latabo.
you said? Hi,
Can I
ma'am.
repeat what I said for my little example on the side?
Yes, I was disconnected.
Okay, no problem. So I just gave a little example. I said, what happens if you make a call and it is 1 minute and 2 seconds long, and we're looking at the peak time? So if it's 1 minute and 2 seconds long. So we look at the little scenario here. It tells you that it's R1.45 for the first minute. So the first part of your cost is going to be R1.45, and that is going to be for your first minute. But you have gone over that first minute by 2 seconds, and according to the question, it is 2 cents per second. So that's why I said plus 2 cents times by 2, because there is 2 seconds that you went over by. So it's the R1.45 plus 4 cents. So it'll be 1,49. I think I wrote 1,47 just now. It's 2 times 2, which is 4. So it's 1,49 would be the cost of that call. Does that make sense, Latabo? Can let me know in the chat. Okay. Awesome, good. Glad you understand. So let's go back to question 3, because I said let's work out for off-peak and peak. So we've done the peak. Let's look at air free for, sorry, we've done off-peak. Let's look at peak. So air free, how much is it for a 1 minute call using air free during peak time? It is in the table here. For 1 minute, it is going to be R1.45. How much is it going to be for a 1 minute call using purple during peak times? Let me see in the chat. How much will it be to use the purple service provider on a 1 minute call during peak time? Any takers? Purple, it says it right in the table. How much is it for a 1 minute call? Okay, it is. Oh, here's a quick R1. Thank you, Fifi. For a second, I thought that I was disconnected. Thank you, guys. R1. Okay, so that's nice and easy. Like I said, it feels like a trick question, but it is possible to get a question like this in a test. Awesome. Okay, so in the black writing, that was off peak, blue was peak. So as you can see, peak is going to be more expensive for all service providers. It's always more expensive. So which option is cheaper? In both scenarios, which one is cheaper? So if you're only going to make a 1 minute phone call every time, which service provider are you choosing to use? Good, purple is cheaper. So if we have a look at off-peak, purple is cheaper. If we have a look at peak, purple is still cheaper. So therefore, purple is cheaper. Nice. Okay, good. Looks like you guys are getting the hang of this. So since you did so well with question 3, I think that you will be able to handle question 4. So let's have a quick look at question 4. It says, compare how much it will cost to make a 2 minute call using Airfree and Purple during peak time, and state which option is cheaper. So we can see that it's a very similar question to what we just asked, except this time we're looking at a 2 minute call during peak time only. Okay, so very similar to question 3, but now it's for 2 minutes and peak time. So we'll be looking at the last block. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes to try question 4. So work out the cost for air free for 2 minutes and the cost for purple. Let me know if I need to zoom in a bit or if you guys are fine. Perfect. We'll do Fifi. If you guys would like to maybe take a screenshot of what we've done, if you haven't been able to write everything down, maybe take a quick screenshot. I'm going to clear everything away so we can focus on question 4. Okay. So I'm just going to quickly clear this. Okay, Fifi, just let me know if you want me to zoom in some more. Yeah, I saw some answers coming in there. Okay. Every purple. Well, I don't know about you guys, but if I was choosing between these two options, purple definitely seems to be the winning one.
Not because it's your favorite color.
Oh yeah, it's not though. So. Definitely not. Okay, yo, you guys are on fire today. Doing this really quickly. Okay. Let's have a look. Is there anyone that would like to talk to me? Tell me how you did it. Unmute. Walk me through it. Saw so many hands earlier.
Not a single one now. That's a
Not
shame.
this time, hey? Yeah, yeah. It's you and me, it seems, eh? Okay, so we're looking at the peak information specifically. Okay, but I'm Tiamo, yeah. Why don't you help us out, Tiamo? Hey?
Tiamo is shy. I must alert you.
Okay. But super fast on the chat. That's okay. As long as you're interacting. Okay, so I'm going to do the answer up here. So air free specifically for a 2-minute call. So according to the table, for the first minute, it is R1.45. So that is for my first minute. Plus, now it is 2 cents per second afterwards. How many seconds in a minute? It is 60 seconds times by 2 cents. That is for your second minute. Okay, so it becomes 1 Rand 45 plus 100 and, sorry, that was my mistake. Let me write it better, because then 0.02. 60 times 0.02 is 1 Rand 20. Add them together. R2.65 for air free. Okay, so I just want to check your answers. So we got a few different answers there. Did you guys see what you did wrong? Or do you have any questions? Oh, I see Kia is keeping you guys busy in the chat there. Okay, let's look at purple. I'm going to write it in purple as well. Purple is 1 Rand per minute. 1 Rand, it's 2-minute long call. So it's going to be 2 Rand. So again, shock horror. Purple is the cheapest. I don't know why I did that in a sing-song voice, but
I told you, it's your favorite color.
that's trouble. Why are you saying sorry? Okay.
Maybe they made a mistake. Let me just
So you
quickly.
don't multiply the 1.45. No, so it's 1.45 for that first minute. Then you leave that alone. Then it's 2 cents times by the number of seconds. Okay, do we have any questions? Does it make sense now that I've shown you how to work it out step by step? If you have any questions, let us know in the chat. Awesome. Good. Glad you understand, Fifi. Okay. So if we think about this question as a whole, could you have studied for this kind of question? No, because they can give you a similar scenario in an exam. They could even give you the same scenario and change the numbers around. At the end of the day, you need to understand what they have given you, understand how they explain what the call cost is off peak and during peak time. Okay, so you could get a slightly different scenario, but at the end of the day, you can never study solely for this because it'll always be different. So when you get something like this, take your time before you answer the questions, highlight important things, make sure you understand. Make sure you understand, what does first 10 per month free mean? What is thereafter 95%? Sorry, 95 cents per SMS. Okay, understand what this means, that it's 1 Rand 20 for the first minute, but then after that first minute, it's going to be a different fee, a different charge, and how you would work that out. Okay. The first one, as in air free in this question, or the very, very first question? Okang, is it? Okay, cool. Let me explain air free again. So it's a 2-minute call. According to the table, the first minute, you're going to be charged 1 Rand 45 cents for the first minute. So that's what I've got it here. Our first minute out of our 2 minutes is 1 Rand 45. Now I leave that 1 Rand 45 alone. I now only have 1 more minute left out of the call. But now they say in the question that it's 2 cents per second. Okay, now remember, it's a minute that we have left. A minute is 60 seconds. And it's 2 cents for every second. So that's why I'm timesing by 2 cents. Okay, so our second minute, I've converted it to seconds, which is 60, and I've times by 2 cents. And that's how I end up with R1.45 plus R1.20. I add it together because I want to know the total cost of the call. So the tricky part was this second part of the calculation. You take your second minute, convert it to seconds because they told us the cost per second. So we need to know the seconds amount. Does that help? Perfect, no problem. Okay, guys, so how are you feeling after that question? If you got that in a test, how would you feel now? Not before you did it, after going through it, how do you feel? Good, I'm glad you understand. It's tricky, so you definitely need some more practice. Good, nice, Fifi, as long as you're feeling better about it. Okay, yeah, it is very tricky. So we're going to look at something similar now, but a different scenario. So in this question, we're looking at cell phone fees, cell phone charges. So how much the provider charges you for your calls and your SMSs. So it is slightly outdated in the sense that they haven't included data in cell phone tariffs. So we still got questions with SMSs and call costs. Okay, so that's one way you can look at fee structures. The next thing we're going to look at is bank charge fee structures. So again, fee structures, you can't really study for them. You can just practice a lot because every scenario, every question is going to be very different, but all the information you need is in the question. Okay, so I'm going to just zoom in here for now. So this is just an example of, I think, F&B's bank charges. Now, a bank can charge you for absolutely everything that you do with your money in that bank account. So let's say you have chosen F&B as your bank. You've now put some money into an account. Just by having an account, you pay something called a monthly account fee. So even if you don't touch your money, if you are a Gold Unlimited customer, you're going to pay 109 Rand every single month. Or if you're F&B Fusion Gold customer, you're going to pay 89 Rand every single month. So this is how the bank makes their money. They charge you for all their services that they provide you. Then they can charge you for purchases that you make on your card purchases. The first one is commission and currency conversion fee on international card purchases. So F&B will charge you 2.75% of the transaction value. So if you, for example, went and used your international card and you spent 1,000 Rand, you would take that 1,000 Rand and you times by 2.75% because it says it's 2.75% of the transaction value. The transaction was 1,000 Rand, of means times, so you times by that percentage. So that's just an example. That's what 2.75% of transaction value means. You take that percentage times by whatever number you're looking at in the question. Okay, so that's just another example of a fee that the bank can charge you. They can charge you for using a petrol card. Every time you use your petrol card, you're going to pay R5.75 to FNB. So every time you swipe that Petro card, you are paying R5.75 to FNB because that is a service they provide you. Now, it's not just FNB, all banks do this. Okay. Then you can get charged for cash withdrawals. Cash withdrawals, that means you're taking money out of your account. You are withdrawing it. You're taking it out your account. So if you go to other banks' ATMs, so this first one over here, let's say, for example, you can't find an FNB ATM, you need to go to ABSA. If you're going to ABSA, the bank is going to charge you 10 Rand plus 2 Rand per 100 Rand. So let's do a quick example. Let's say you need to withdraw 500 Rand. You've gone to an ABSA ATM, so that means you fall under other banks' ATMs. Okay, so the first thing they're going to charge you, according to this information here, is 10 Rand because you've gone to ABSA. Plus, it is 2 Rand per 100 Rand. How many 100 Rands are in that 500? It is 5. So it'll be 2 Rand times by 5. So it's 2 Rand per 100 Rand. So it's 100 Rand, 100 Rand, 100 Rand, 100 Rand, all the way to 500. That is 5 100 Rands. So that is how you would work out this bank charge. Okay, so you would say 10 Rand plus 10 Rand. So FNB would charge you 20 Rand because you went to ABSA instead of their ATM. So again, this is how the banks make their money. They charge you for every little thing. So I'm just going through what these bank charges mean. Okay, we are going to try some questions now. Okay. If we have a look at the next thing, it says FNB branch or check. So that means we're still looking at cash withdrawals. You go into an actual FNB branch. You go into the big building FNB and you go and withdraw money. Now, this is very expensive because at the end of the day, someone at FNB is physically going to do this transaction for you, get the money, give it to you. So that's going to cost you a lot more. As you can see, it says 80 Rand plus 2 Rand 50 per 100 Rand. So let's say, for example, you walk into the FNB building, you say you want 500 Rand out your account. FNB is going to be like, sure, here's your 500 Rand, but that's going to cost you 80 Rand up front plus 2 Rand 50 per 100. So because you're taking 500 Rand, there are 5 100s in that situation. Okay. So that is 80 Rand plus 12 Rand 50. Okay. But now it's important to note, you don't have to now go and pay FNB that 92 Rand 50. They're going to take it off your account for you. So all these little charges come off your account. You'll see it in your bank statement. You physically don't, have to pay it in. Okay, so that's a quick little recap or I suppose explanation on how bank fees work. So I know it's a relatively new topic, especially for grade 10s and the grade 11s. Also, we've touched on it briefly. So there are 4 different ways you can withdraw money at FNB and they will charge you accordingly. So if you're looking at an international ATM, it's 80 Rand. If you're looking at an international branch, they've got their relevant fees. Okay, then we also look at deposits. Deposits is when you are putting money into the account. So you can do that at a branch and they have their relevant fee. You can do it at a branch and ATM and they have their relevant fee. Okay, so all the fees are here for you. You just need to understand what it means, just like the previous question. So let's have a look at one question and see if we have got this. Okay. Question 1 says, Calculate how much the bank will charge if an item costing 1,500 Rand is purchased by using an international card purchase. So first things first, let's look at the important information here. The transaction value, what amount are we using? 1,500 Rand. And what is the transaction? It is a international card purchase. So that is your key. You need to now go find this in the general fees table. Okay, and if we have a look, this is the part of the table we need to look at, and they tell us the bank charge is 2.75% of the transaction value. Okay, so this is the key. This is what we need to do our calculation. So I'm going to help you with this one first. So 2.75% of the transaction value. So the bank is going to charge you 2.75% of means times the transaction value is 1,500 Rand. Okay. And if we put that in our calculator, you need to put the percentage sign in. That means the bank charges you 41 Rand and 25 cents to do that transaction, to use your international card for purchase. And all I had to do was find information in the table and slot in my value of the transaction. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to try question 2. So there are 2 parts. I want you to focus on calculate the cost to withdraw 600 Rand at another bank's ATM. So just do this part of the question because there's 2 calculations you need to do. Just do the first one for me. Calculate the cost to withdraw 600 Rand at another bank's ATM. So your keywords, you're withdrawing 600 Rand at another bank's ATM. So you need to find that information in the table. So you can look under withdrawals, one of those options. And it happens to be the first one. So you're going to be using this to do your calculation. When you have your answer, you can let me know in the chat. Nice, Tapelo, so quick. Paul, you're forgetting about the 10 Rand. Nice, Imanati. Nice, Akile. Good. Sibusile, what would you like me to repeat? Okay, let's go through this part. So the first thing is withdrawing 600 Rand from another bank's ATM. So firstly, you highlight the important parts. What are you doing with the money? Are you withdrawing, depositing, using a card? How much and where? ATM branch, online. Those are the 3 important things. Okay, so another bank's ATM. Oh. It's going to be, according to the table, 10 Rand plus 2 Rand for every 100 Rand. The transaction is 600 Rand. So there are 6 100s. So it's 2 Rand for every 100 Rand. So it's 2 Rand, 2 Rand, 2 Rand, 2 Rand, 2 Rand, and 2 Rand 6 times. Okay, because there's 600 Rand. And that gives you 10 Rand plus 12 Rand, which means the bank fee, the bank is going to charge you 22 Rand for taking 600 Rand out of your account at ABSA, for example. And lots of you picked that up. Well done. How did we get to 6? So according to the table over here, it says 2 Rand per 100 Rand, 2 Rand per 100. So every 100 Rand that you are withdrawing, you're going to pay 2 Rand. So in 600 Rand, there's going to be 6 100 Rands. Okay. So it's 2 Rand for every 100 Rand that comes out. There are 6 100 Rands that come out to make the 600 Rand. Does that help? CBC going through that answer as well as Siamo. Makes sense. Good. See. Okay, let's try the second half of this question. Now, this transaction is not in the table. We don't need to worry about the table. I have put it here in bold for us. So the question says from the beginning, calculate the cost to withdraw 600 Rand at another bank's ATM. Then it says, and compare it to the cost to withdraw 600 Rand at an FNB ATM. If the bank charge at an FNB ATM is, so instead of it being in the table, it is now over here for us. So we know FNB is going to charge us 22 Rand if we go anywhere else to any other ATM. But if we go to FNB, it's going to be 2 Rand plus 1.3% of the transaction value. Do you guys want to try that one on your own quickly? Using that highlighted part, work out how much it's going to cost to withdraw 600 Rand from the FNB ATM. When you have your answer, you can put it in the chat. So Fifi, I'm not sure how you got those decimals. What was the second part of your calculation? So you've got your 2 Rand, and then what did you do in the second part? Okay. Do you know what you did wrong, or do you want to ask? Okay, guys, so we need to look at the bank charge given to us. It says F&B ATM, it's going to cost you R2 plus 1.3% of the transaction value. So we know it's R2 straight away, and then it is 1.3% of means times the transaction value. The transaction value is 600 Rand. Okay, if you put it into your calculator as is, it should do BODMAS for you. But if not, just remember the times needs to happen first. Okay, so it's going to be R2 plus R7.80, which gives you a final answer of R9.80, which is much cheaper than the 22 Rand if you had to go to ABSA, Nedbank, any other bank, Tabitech. It's always cheaper to draw money at your own bank, to do stuff at your own bank. Ooh, did you guys get this right? I'm seeing party faces, yeses. Did you guys get that right? Well done. Well done. That's amazing. Well done, guys. Very, very, very impressive. Siamo. Panicking for no reason. Okay, so banking type questions happen in grade 10, 11, and 12. But it's the same thing over and over again. Everything is always given to you. You just need to understand the information in the table. What do they mean by 10 Rand plus 2 Rand per 100 Rand? What does 1.3% of transaction value mean? Okay, the percentage times by the amount that's in the question. So again, it's not a topic you can study for, but you definitely need to practice, because every question will be different.